Hey everyone, Commander 2016 is releasing in a few days and we have so much to cover it's ridiculous. This week is all deck techs all the time. Each day we'll be covering a different pre-constructed deck, teching the crap out of it, talking financial value, and showing you upgrades if you're interested in pipping them out a bit. Today we're talking Invent Superiority, the greenless Commander 2016 deck. If you're as pumped about this release as I am, be sure to hit that like button. Helps out a lot. Enjoy. As you'll notice with all of these decks, bringing together 4 colors is not an easy thing to do. Some cards will feel out of place, forced together, etc. That's a sacrifice we have to make to get the Nephilim cycle back. So just keep that in mind when you see some cards that don't necessarily make sense with the rest of the strategy. That's going to happen. We'll begin with the star of the show, Breya Ethereum Shaper. 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black, and 1 red for a 4/4 legendary artifact creature human. Enter the battlefield, you get 2 1/1 flying blue Thopters. Very cool, very blue. If you look at the rest of her abilities, they incorporate each color pretty well. You can pay 2 mana and sacrifice 2 artifacts to deal 3 damage to target player, very red. Give target creature -4/-4 until end of turn, very black. Or gain 5 life, obviously white. Each color is very clearly represented on the card, and while some commanders make you question what kind of deck you're going to build, Breya does not do that. It's very clear what you're trying to do. This is a greenless artifact deck that takes advantage of massive artifact recursion, going wide with robots, and everything in between. With each deck comes a multitude of partner legendaries who are, at least somewhat, supposed to synergize or complement the main commander. In this deck, we have Akiri Linesinger, Bruce Tarl Burrish Herder, and Silas Wrenseeker Adept. Akiri makes perfect sense. Great way to incorporate a Boros feel into an artifact deck that's clearly trying to go wide. Getting +1/+0 for each artifact is fair, rewards you for getting mass tokens with Breya, and makes sense color-wise. Along similar lines, Silas Wren makes perfect sense. We're going to look at a ton of artifacts soon, and Breya forces you to sacrifice 2 to use her ability. You won't always have tokens lying around to sacrifice. Silas is one of many cards that helps to recur artifacts in some way. Death Touch discourages blocks so you can trigger, it all makes sense. Bruce Tarl, that's who we need to talk about. Remember when I said there might be some awkward inclusions in each deck? Bruce Tarl is the definition of an awkward inclusion. No synergy with artifacts, no synergy with a mass artifact creature strategy. The dude was clearly included as a Boros partner filler for players who don't want to use artifacts, which is totally fine. But when you start looking to upgrade Breya, Bruce Tarl is one of the first high-profile cards that will get cut, just saying. Now don't get me wrong, the deck runs some huge creatures, it does, but Bruce just isn't optimal for what we're trying to do. Alright, let's get into the meat of the deck. Invent Superiority is about flooding the board with artifacts, like legit, just dropping artifacts left and right. With that in mind, the deck comes with ways to ease artifact spell casting. Chief Engineer, Ethereum Sculptor, and Vidalcan Engineer all help you to artifact ramp pretty effectively. Since we're trying to flood the board, where do we start? The deck runs your classic early drop artifacts like Soul Ring, Everflowing Chalice, Felwar Stone, Swiftfoot Boots. Lots of artifacts are included simply because they're good cards. We start getting a ton of value when we talk about Dispeller's Capsule, Executioner's Capsule, Ichor Wellspring, Mycosynth Wellspring, and Commander's Sphere. These are all artifacts that we want to go to the graveyard at some point. But beyond that, we also want them all to come back so we can do it again. The capsules are relevant removal, the Wellsprings are delicious fodder for Breya's ability, and the Sphere draws a card. Can't really say no to any of those. Aside from the Wellsprings, there are other cards we want to sacrifice. Mirror Retriever, Etched Oracle, but we'll be killing that ourselves, and Solemn Simulacrum. As we see this deck come together, it's basically made up of 3 parts. There are artifact cards that have value by going to the graveyard, engines that help you get those cards into the graveyard, and then the cards that bring those artifacts back. Now that we've taken a look at the cards that go to the graveyard, let's see how else we can get them there. The deck runs Slowbad Goblin Tinker, great artifact sack engine. Trash for Treasure lets you both sacrifice an artifact and bring another one back, that's just value. Duretti Scrap Savant is back, bringing that powerful -2 ability, talk about a solid inclusion. Then we have Trading Post and Thopter Foundry. As you can see, especially when we talk about upgrades, there are plenty of ways to get artifacts into your graveyard. We will touch on this more a little later, but the deck is heavy on sack engines, and not so heavy on benefits for sacrificing. Where the deck really shines though, recursion. Artifact recursion is the name of the game here. Breya forces you to sacrifice artifacts, right? Like half the deck brings them back. We have the aforementioned Mer Retriever, Hannah Ship's Navigator gets a snazzy new reprint, Magus of the Will basically lets you cast as much of your graveyard as you can for a turn, Sanctum Gargoyle is pretty straightforward, Sharum the Hegemon, another additional commander, recurs very nicely and brings a huge body to help out in combat. Open the Vault brings back everything, Beacon of Unrest is a solid spell that lets you bring back any target artifact or creature from any graveyard. As you can see, there are just an absurd amount of recursion effects in this deck. There really are. It's kind of ridiculous. If you were looking for a shelf for some kind of artifact sacrifice deck, Invent Superiority gives you so many options. It's just something to think about. There is a bit of an equipment sub-theme in the deck that's worthy of discussion. Cranial Plating, Loxodon Warhammer, Skull Clamp, and Bone Horde all come in this product. It's no secret that these are all incredibly powerful equipment in Commander. Specifically, Skull Clamp has a delicious synergy with Breya's tokens, anything made from our Thopter Foundry, it's good stuff. It'd be one thing to simply include some equipment, but Invent Superiority also comes with some equipment-focused tech. Armory Automaton collects equipment on entry to the battlefield or on attack, which is simply ridiculous. Godo Bandit Warlord is an equipment king, letting you tutor for one on entry to the battlefield. Just some pretty nice inclusions there. I'd say the last real theme of the deck, and the one that is most convenient simply based on how the deck is built, is the idea that we need to flood the board with artifacts. That's how we win. Jorkadine makes that abundantly clear. Hellkite Igniter really likes other artifacts on your side of the board, and Hellkite Tyrant, well, you see what's going on here? It's a simple synergy, but a synergy nonetheless. Aside from these fatties, Invent Superiority also gives you a copy of Soul of New Phyrexia, Aethersworn Adjudicator, Filigree Angel, and Mere Battlesphere. Giant creatures, but made easier to cast with the artifact ramp spells we spoke about at the beginning of the tech. Short review of the deck, some financial info, then upgrades. Invent Superiority, led by Breya Ethereum Shaper, is very clearly an artifact-based recursion deck. While it comes with some solid recursion cards for the archetype, including staples Duretti, Slowbad, Solemn Simulacrum, and Mere Battlesphere, it is sorely lacking in top-tier rewards. Bringing back Wellsprings isn't bad, but it's more incremental value than you want. Artifact recursion decks are trying to do pretty big things, and the targets in this precon are simply too weak. The engine's there, both for recurring targets and sacrificing them, but there's no oomph, there's no giant win condition. One or two huge artifacts isn't enough. Aside from that, the deck comes with a myriad of cards usable in any artifact-based strategy. As far as a skeleton build goes, Invent Superiority does a superb job. Let me explain further. With inclusions like Baleful Strix, Master of Ethereum, Duretti, Fairy Artisans, and more, this deck will give artifact players a healthy number of staples to build their own decks from. These 4 cards alone are worth around half the deck's total cost, so you're clearly getting your money's worth. If I have to sum up Invent Superiority in one thought, it would be this. While not covering all the bases the deck sets out to, Invent Superiority is a fantastic starting point for anyone looking to build any type of artifact-based commander strategy. The deck comes with plenty of staples and powerful legendary creatures. Overall, the deck is great for the price and definitely playable right out of the box. Just don't expect to win too quickly. It takes a little while to get going. Alright, upgrade time. Let me be clear, there are a million different directions you can take Breya in. Seriously, the variations are near endless with a 4-color artifact commander. While this is true, there are certain staples that I believe should be included regardless of where you go. Tezzeret the Seeker, Tezzeret Agent of Bolus, and Duretti Ingenious Iconoclast are all solid artifact-based planeswalkers. Whether you're going infinite, going big, or going wide, each of them brings value to the table. If we're talking spells, this shell is sorely lacking more tutors. We need Enlightened Tutor, Reshape, Koldath the Forge Master, and Fabricate at the very least. If we're talking more recursion, Goblin Welder is insane, Scrap Mastery is just too funny not to include. Man, there are so many cards to include. What's next? Right, Breya is a white creature with an Enter the Battlefield ability. We need blink effects if we're going to take advantage of that Thopter production. As a matter of fact, there's an entire package if you want to take more of a blue-white route to the deck. Eldrazi Displacer, Phyrexian Metamorph, Duplicant, even something non-artifact related like Phyrexian Ingester. You could go a step further. Venser is a great include in that kind of strategy, both of Vensers to be completely honest. Including Sun Titan is another way to recur all your capsules and Wellsprings if you still have them. This isn't a bad idea, honestly. Not your style. No problem. Let's talk about bringing in some bigger rewards for recursion. That's where this deck is lacking the most. So what we're looking for, more cards like Mirror Battlesphere. Think Wormcoil Engine. Duplicate is a solid staple for that deck. Thanks to Kaladesh, Noxious Gearhulk doesn't look too bad. There are options for giant creatures. If you want more sacrifice goodness, Enigma Sphinx might be my favorite suggestion. If you want other giant creatures, you can't go wrong with Platinum Angel, Sphinx Sovereign, Blightsteel Colossus, because why not? Memnarch if you want to. Again, there are plenty of options. If that still isn't something you want to do, we can talk broken combos. The deck comes with Thopter Foundry, and all you need to do to make that stupid is add in Sword of the Meek and Ashnod's Altar. Sacrifice the Sword of the Meek to the Foundry, it comes back, sacrifice the 1/1 creature to Ashnod's Altar, sacrificing the sword again, it comes back. You net gain 1 colorless mana and 1 life each time, effectively giving you infinite life and colorless mana, so you can enjoy that. The precon comes with Sidri Galvanic Genius, so you can add in Aetherflux Reservoir, make the reservoir a creature, give it lifelink, and dome the entire table. Pay 50 life, lifelink 50 damage. Hilarious. We're not done yet. If you're running a going wide type strategy, Time Sieve is a sweet card. There are plenty of ways to get 5 artifacts on the battlefield each turn. The combo with Thopter Assembly lets you play the Assembly, get 5 1/1s, sacrifice them to the Civ, next turn, play the Assembly again, as long as you have the mana to play the Assembly each turn. That's infinite turns, so yay. We just spoke about this card, but if you're playing Breya, please play Ashnod's Altar. Letting you gain 2 mana from sacrificing a creature is just too good to pass up. It combos with Eldrazi Displacer and Breya. It's what lets you do the Thopter Foundry sword combo. It also combos with Nim Death Mantle. There are honestly too many combos. Are we done yet? We're not? My god. Okay, what's next here? Grand Architect? Pilipala? What's going on here? Okay. Pilipala and Grand Architect make infinite mana of all colors. You need 1 blue mana to make Pili blue, then tap it for 2 mana using the Architect's ability, then you use that 2 mana to untap Pala, adding whichever color you want, then you tap it again using the Architect's ability. You could just do that forever. Add Breya into the mix. With that infinite mana, you can sacrifice Breya and one of her Thopters to her own ability. She goes to the command zone, you play her again adding 2 mana each time because you have infinite mana and it doesn't matter. Sacrifice her and another Thopter, get another ability of hers. You can wreck the entire table. Even if you decide not to use the combo, the synergy between Breya and Grand Architect is simply outrageous. Her Thopters are blue. Architect can tap them both for mana. That's craziness. As you can see, there are a ridiculous amount of combos that work with Breya, and honestly, that's one of the things I like about her. While she does require the sacrificing of artifacts, the deck that you build around her can be your own. There are so many options available to you. Gotta be one of my favorite things about these new commanders. I think that brings us to the end of this review, though. Wow, that is a long video. If you made it all the way here, leave me a cool little emote, a smiley face, a person cheering, whatever feels right. Anyways, what do you think? How do you feel about Event Superiority? Is this a deck that you're going to pick up this weekend? Any other cool synergies or combos I didn't mention that you'd like to share? Please do. We love hearing it all. Expect the rest of this series in the coming days. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This video was brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. Event Superiority is looking amazing, and it's pretty clear the value's there. If you want Event Superiority, you can pre-order it right now on TCG Player for only $32 shipped. Cheaper than Target or Walmart, that's for sure. If you want the entire bundle of all 5 Commander 2016 products, we could do that too. $137 shipped. These prices are more than fair, so if you don't have a local game store, this is a great option for you. Enjoy.